Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to a special stream with Crash from Twitter at CrashesClay69. I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with him. Kind of a legend, man. Everything he touches seems to just go crazy. Definitely a great follow. His socials are down below in the description, so definitely check that out. But guys, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. Here's the deal today. Crash and I decided it would be best to do this completely unscripted. We have no agenda. We mentioned one ticker beforehand, just casually. We were talking about it that we will cover, but we're just going to go over everything that I'm looking at in the markets, everything that he's looking at in the markets. We're going to debate, have some fun, do some TA, maybe talk a little bit of FA. But honestly, man, I'm thrilled to be here. Crash, thanks so much for being here again, man. It's always a great time. Last stream went really well. I certainly had a great time and learned something from you. But thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, guys, if you're not following Max, you guys know this is probably my favorite person in the space right now, especially because his charts, man. I'm telling you, this guy, I'm gonna keep saying it. He has the best charts in the entire world. At least that's what I believe. So it's always an honor to be able to do something with someone who, in my opinion, is the best in the world at what they do. So yeah, I'm excited to look at some charts with you today.
Crash, bro, you are way too nice to me, man. You making me blush. The best in the world at something, that is. I'm just a guy that makes charts because I need to in order to understand this stuff, man. It was like sink or swim for me. I'm such a visual learner, but I do appreciate the kind words. Seriously.
Of course, but I mean it. So let's do it.
I'm also rocking my Brett hoodie today, man. Shout out AJ. AJ sent me the Brett hoodie. AJ's a good friend of mine and Crashes as well. And it's awesome colors, man. I saw AJ was rocking this on his old show. And he's like, "You want one?" And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, come on. I live in Minnesota, right? Like, you can never have enough hoodies, and the color scheme is great. So, we're rocking my Brett hoodie today, but we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I guess I'll pull up a chart first. We won't waste any time. Let's dive right into it. I see a lot of the comments, guys. Welcome, welcome. And again, we'll try to get to as many of the comments as we possibly can. We got a lot of call outs and stuff like that already. So we'll probably do them more so at the end. Hopefully you guys understand. But yeah. All right. Welcome, guys. All right. So I want to talk about a few things. So actually first let's talk about, man, what do I want to talk about? All right, I want to talk about this with you because Crash, I know that you're bullish Caspa too, and for good reason. And I spotted this yesterday. I was doing some TA. I was getting ready to watch the Masters, the final round of the Masters with some buddies. And I was looking at this and I was like, where have I seen this price action before? This Caspa price action. Obviously, Caspa holders have kind of gone through like an emotional capitulation. Obviously, this is not price-based capitulation. It might feel like it just because, we've been bleeding for a little bit and that's never fun. But this is more of an emotional capitulation than anything. I mean, we went from 18 cents down to right now 11. A capitulation is like a 70 or 80% drop. This is not what that is, right? This is clear cut an emotional capitulation with a slow bleed. And I was looking at this and I was like, where have I seen this before? And I was like, holy crap, man, it's literally Bitcoin before it went crazy. And I overlaid this fractal. I did tweet this out. So some of you that follow me, that you've probably seen this, but I do believe there's a really strong case to be made for something like this happening with Caspa, where we actually do continue to protect this low, right around here. And this will more or less serve as demand. And who knows exactly how it plays out, right? Like fractals never play out one for one, unfortunately. We have to understand with fractals, what we're trying to do is we're trying to capture the spirit or the essence of the move, right? We are trying to, understand the psychology of market participants that actually dictate, buys and sells at any given point and at any given inflection point. And, as Bitcoin is continuing to kind of chop and attempt to establish value underneath the previous cycle all-time high of 69K, alts are getting destroyed, which, by the way, is something that happens every cycle, which we can get into as well. But But I'll say, Crash, what do you think about Caspa, man? Like, I know you're a Caspa believer, at least last time we spoke, and obviously you saw this chart, but how you feeling about Caspa here, brother?
Yeah, so I've loaded up $1 million worth of Caspa. I could show that too if anyone wants to see, but I'm down like 120K on my spot buy this week of that. Yeah, down 140K right now on my Caspa spot buy. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all because, like, I mean, look at this chart. Like, it's not a big deal at all. Because here's the thing about Caspa is I didn't know about it earlier. I didn't know, like, I didn't know about it at a penny or 3 pennies. So obviously, I'm getting into it later, and that's fine. Because I can go in with size and confidently just depend on the charts to carry me through a very fucking liquid winner where I could turn 1 million into 10 million plus is basically the goal here with Caspa, right? So that's kind of my mindset is I don't even, I know a lot of people, they say Caspa makes Litecoin obsolete. It's far better tech. It's just better in every single way than Litecoin. That's not the way I look at it. Sure, the tech may be better and it may be all this and that, but the way I see is Litecoin is like a currency, right? Bitcoin is a currency. I don't think Caspa will ever be seen as a currency like Litecoin or Bitcoin. A lot of people like to dog shit on Bitcoin or Litecoin because they have old tech. It's outdated. It's not fast. It's not good, right? Is what a lot of people will say. But that's actually, honestly, you can't get that OG bad tech anymore. And so that
You can't get
OG
that
bad
bad tech, man.
yeah, that OG bad tech that they have being so old is what actually makes them more of a currency now because they're like kind of the first ones. So to me, I think Litecoin's slow or bad tech, like people will shit on it for, is actually its benefit as a currency. Same with Bitcoin. So I actually hold Litecoin as a currency, and then I hold Caspa as a speculative bet based on the charts. So I hold them two for very different reasons. And I think Litecoin, for example, is criminally undervalued, whereas I don't think Caspa is undervalued. I just think it's going to be going up in a bubble like other things, and I think based on the charts, it's going to outperform. And so, I would even say Caspa is overvalued at 3 billion. Of course, this is talking out of my ass here, and it's a subjective opinion. It's not really on me to decide what's overvalued and what's not. But like to me, I feel like nobody in the world cares about Caspa truly. I don't think anyone's going to use it really. But nonetheless, the charts tell me something different, right? So I have to put aside what I think about Caspa. And, when I look at Litecoin or Caspa, like I think Litecoin is way more better valued with way better upside. I feel like, but guess what? The charts tell me that Caspa can freaking do amazing. So it doesn't matter what I feel.
Why do you think that people are gonna use Litecoin though? Like, why would
See,
people use Litecoin when they can just
so
use
first off,
Bitcoin on the Lightning Network?
well, because one, I don't really know people who use Bitcoin on the Lightning Network. I know when I go to a coffee shop personally, right? I have some local coffee shops that take crypto. When I go and I want to pay for coffee in Bitcoin, it's a $20 gas fee. But then Litecoin is a penny or less. So from my own personal experience, I legitimately go and pay with Litecoin. Now, that's my experience, and other people have other experiences. But also, man, is like I've been telling people, it's a bidding war on Bitcoin right now. Everyone wants to claim share of Bitcoin, right? You have Michael Saylor saying that Litecoin, I'm sorry, he's saying Bitcoin is like, digital real estate. He's saying it's like owning property. He's saying it's like owning a block on New York before the buildings were built, is what he thinks owning Bitcoin is like today. So we've always had this narrative around Litecoin that it's the digital silver and, Bitcoin is digital gold. And so if everyone's trying to go and claim dominance and claim their blocks of, of New York on Bitcoin, right? The price of Bitcoin, the price of acquiring your digital real estate in space of New York there, it's going to get very expensive. And the way I see it, I think a lot of people, some big money, some very big players are going to realize, all right, how about instead of claiming digital gold, we go and claim the digital silver market? How about we go corner as much supply as we can of Litecoin? So just as Michael Saylor came to Bitcoin, he's like, all right, I'm going to try to get as much of this as I can. I think we're going to see some players in the world in the coming years, some big money people who are going to be like, wait a minute, we can run with this narrative. we can just claim our share of the digital silver market with Litecoin, and we can, basically run with this. Is what I think is going to happen. So obviously, that's just kind of my thoughts on how it could go down. But then also, Litecoin is considered a commodity. It's not considered a security like what they're trying to bring down is a lot of the cryptos in the market they're trying to say is a security. And so Litecoin, just like Bitcoin, is considered a commodity. So it will be very easy for it to get approved for an ETF, I believe, versus a lot of the other coins. And so an ETF should bring a lot of inflows into it. And once again, I think to be honest, Litecoin feels suppressed. So I wouldn't even be surprised if somehow they're suppressing the price of Litecoin to try and get as much of it as possible before they actually end up, pushing through an ETF and actually running with that narrative. So a lot of this is my own imagination or anticipation of how I think this can go down. It's very speculative, but at the same time, if you look at the chart of Litecoin, it really never goes below like, 30, 40, $50 in the last 5 years. And so with all the new money coming into crypto, I don't see any reason why Litecoin should be going below 30, 40, $50. It's at $77 right now. So the risk is so damn limited, man. You have like $25 of downside and you have potentially over $1,000+ of upside if the kind of narrative that I'm seeing that could potentially play out, if I am anticipating correctly, that people are going to realize that buying their real estate on Bitcoin, right? I'm just saying it like in Michael Saylor's view and how a lot of these people view it, right? If they realize it's getting so expensive to acquire their blocks of land on Bitcoin, I think they're going to want to conquer silver. I think they're going to want to conquer their blocks of Litecoin. And so if Bitcoin is New York, then Litecoin could be like Houston or Chicago or some other big city. It's just the way I see it. And maybe I'm crazy and maybe I will be wrong, but I just see so much freaking upside potential should the narrative unfold like I think it can. And then there's like no downside. So I think this is the most sound bet in the entire market. And, look, I just bought Resistance Dog, a meme coin on the number one meme on Telegram's blockchain for a penny. Now I'm flipping it for $1.09. So I know value when I see it. I know, how people can start to like Litecoin if the price starts going up. So fundamentally for me, it's there. The charts, the downside is limited, right? So, and then the upside, it's all the upside in the world should the narrative and thesis that I kind of have for it, if it plays out the way I think it can, oh my God, it's a life-changing trade. If it plays out the way I think it does it, is it going to? I don't know. It's speculation. We're going to see. But at least I know the risk is so limited for me on Litecoin, So,
So, I mean, I don't here's the thing, like, I don't dislike Litecoin, but I do dislike the potential opportunity cost of holding something like Litecoin. And that's not to say that I even disagree with your higher time frame thesis. Like Litecoin Litecoin is a derivative of Bitcoin, right? Like it's a fork of Bitcoin. It is come out of Bitcoin, similarly to Doge, right? So when I look at this chart and I say, okay, when does Litecoin perform well? I just was drawing this up while you were talking. Bitcoin's up top in the orange, Litecoin is down below. I just did like silver for Litecoin, right? And then I marked out the previous Bitcoin all-time high breaks with these lines right here. And you can see that typically Litecoin perks up as Bitcoin is about to go into price discovery, right? So what do we see right here, right? It's like, well, Bitcoin's doing the classic, like, sweep and dance around the previous all-time high. And then, of course, typically what happens to Litecoin over here, in 2017, it went from $4 all the way up to $214. And then last cycle, Litecoin went, to be fair, let's just say like, $70 up to $400 roughly, give or take, right? So really great return. And by the way, Bitcoin going above its all-time high, right? So from all-time high until 69K was, roughly 300%, right? So it's like that's not bad, right? Litecoin went from, let's see here. I mean, it kind of depends where you want to mark it from, but we'll be fair, $75. 75 up to 400. That did outperform Bitcoin while it was in price discovery, technically speaking. It wasn't like 10x it, but it was outperformance, no question about it. So, as we're sitting right here, kind of on this legacy trend line, and I'll zoom in a little bit. Um, I look at this and I go, well, if there ever was a time, historically speaking, to buy Litecoin, it is sitting on top of legacy support right here. Again, going back to 2018, then we tagged it again during COVID, which is incredible. So 2020, and then all throughout the bear market, Litecoin's been grinding on this trend line, and Bitcoin is in price discovery, or trying to get into price discovery a little bit more clearly. And again, these vertical lines I have drawn here is when Bitcoin has finally ripped that band-aid off. So, I mean, I'll be honest, like I'm not one like I I'm a technician. Like I don't know more than the charts. The charts know way more than me. I'm just trying to interpret them as best as I can. And Crash, you are correct. Like if there ever was a time to go gung ho long Litecoin, it would be around this point in the cycle. You are correct. Like we're just looking at the chart. So here it is.
Exactly.
Here's the
And
data.
also think about this. When Bitcoin was at around $16,000, right? Where was Litecoin? Litecoin at that same point. Can you see on your chart?
Well, Bitcoin was where at 16,000?
Uh, yeah, at the bottom of 2023. So like in,
Okay.
in January.
Bottom of 2023,
Yeah, like 15K, 15K, 16K.
right around here.
That's no, it's lower. Like the bottom of Bitcoin, basically.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Right.
zoom in here a little bit. Right here.
Okay.
Like the
Yeah. Look
FTX
at where
deviation.
Litecoin was. Yeah, bro. Look where Litecoin was. It's at the same price it was at right now. And the way I see it is okay, now Bitcoin has went up like 3, 4x, and Litecoin is still the same price. So priced in Bitcoin, you're buying 4 times more Litecoin right now, right? And I think it's lagging, but you know, I don't think this is gonna last forever. I do think Litecoin's gonna snap on and catch up, and that 4x outperformance of Bitcoin in the last year, like I'm not gonna bet on that to continue at this point when looking at these charts. I think it's crazy. Like once again, for $16,000 Bitcoin, you could buy the same amount of Litecoin as you can, uh, or no, you can buy 4 times less. Like I don't know. It just seems so undervalued, man. Yeah, I just think it's one of the
Yeah.
best bets in the
So
market.
let's see how Litecoin does around the Bitcoin halvings. That would be so where are the here, let me do this actually. So the Bitcoin halvings, I'll just mark them out. I think I know them more or less for memory. Because I think that might tell us too, like obviously the Bitcoin Litecoin ratio is, not doing well right now. Like you said, it's either cooked or it's in major discount territory, right? And it sounds like you're making a bet that it's in discount territory, and you can buy the same, you can buy Litecoin at the same Bitcoin denominated value as you could during like the FTX capitulation. All right. So the Bitcoin halvings were, what was it? It was last cycle was May of 2020, right around here. And then before that, it was, man, well, I think it was right here. Was it July 26? Oops. I'm pretty sure it was July 2016. People in the comments check me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was July 2016, May of 2020. And then obviously our next one is like really, really soon. It's like April 20th. So right about here. So these are our Bitcoin halvings in recent years. And if we look at Litecoin here, it looks like we're kind of doing similar price action that we always do for Litecoin, like right around, leading up to the Bitcoin halving, where it just kind of chops, moves sideways, afterwards you get a little bit more consolidation. Like this looks familiar, right? And then right afterwards, it looks like you get a little bit more. We'll put this in a different color. We'll put this in blue. So these again, these vertical lines here are Bitcoin halvings. I might be off by a tiny bit, but I'm very, very close. And it looks like, right after the Bitcoin halving is kind of when Litecoin begins to really perk up. And just to measure it clearly, we could do the Litecoin Bitcoin pair. If it could load. There we
Dude,
go.
this chart's amazing.
And this is the Litecoin Bitcoin pair here. So we'll do this again, and we'll just put this in. We'll just put this in all red. And then this is Litecoin Bitcoin. And then again, the vertical lines are Bitcoin halvings. So here we'll just put this text. I don't want anybody forgetting what we're looking at. So this is Litecoin Bitcoin. So here we go. I don't even know if I need to put it in log. It might look better not in log. Yeah, I kind of like it better not in log because then it shows the moves a little bit more. But here's Litecoin Bitcoin, right? So you can see that, after the Bitcoin halving, you typically kind of bleed a little bit more, but then you do typically get a nice pop right after a Bitcoin halving. So, I mean, if you're aggressively accumulating here, like you could probably expect this pair to, at some point after the halving, so maybe in
Yeah.
Q2 or early Q3, at least give a little pop, right? I don't know how high it goes. Maybe it goes really high, or maybe it's just a little baby pop. But I mean, we're just looking at the data, right? Like now, if there ever was a time to buy Litecoin, it technically would be
It's
around here.
around here and a little bit after the halving, yeah. And you know what's so cool? You've now showed me through the charts that Litecoin continues to underperform shortly after the halving, something I didn't know. And that's something I just learned about my own fucking well over $1 million investment in the Litecoin. So that could be saving me like hundreds of thousands if we're doing live. If I saw this a little earlier, that could be saving me a little, man. Actually, it could be saving me a lot, probably. But yeah, this is amazing. So, I mean, also though, just look at Litecoin though. Do you see how the rate of change to the downside, or like, do you see how it's just getting small? It's like shrinking the further right you go on the chart, right? And that is a sign that we're reaching stability, is the way I see it. Or it's just kind of like when things they start to get flat and they start to get small, like that is where you want to come in, because that's where it can make like dramatic moves to the upside very quickly, is after being floored out, shrinking, price action gets more small like that, the upside in that is huge. And then the downside, the rate of change to the downside, like I said, it's slowing down, right? So when
Are
rate
you
of change
talking
to the
about
downside,
Litecoin USD or Litecoin Bitcoin?
Litecoin Bitcoin, the
Yeah,
non-log scale chart you have right there, you see how it's getting smaller, the price action is getting just like
right.
that.
More
I
compressed.
like
Yeah.
that, man. Yeah, more compressed, exactly. So
So
I
my
like that
question
because
for you though is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because and again, I don't mean to pick on your position. I would view that as a bad
oh,
thing.
pick
I
on
would
it.
actually want it to be the opposite. Like and I'll just show you what I mean real quick. So we'll hide that for one moment. We'll look at Doge BTC because when I look at Doge BTC, I look at this and I go, what you're trying to accomplish, Crash, like I would look at this and go, we want periods of consolidation, but we don't want it to completely die. I want, and look at this, right? So if we're looking at trying to spec something that's proof of work and safe to buy and is beta to Bitcoin, look at the bleed after a halving typically for Doge BTC. It bleeds a
Yeah,
little bit, but then it also but then, every cycle it actually gets a little bit bigger after, like eventually when it does pump, and this is Doge BTC. I would look at this and go, this is actually a better looking chart than Litecoin BTC because it's actually the magnitude of that bleed after the compression is bigger, not smaller. So here I'll put Litecoin back up. You can see the difference here. Like they kind of do the same thing, and I'll draw the blue on
mhm,
here to be fair, but it looks like Doge would actually, according to this chart, be, a little
yeah.
bit better because of, again, look at the
Dude,
magnitude of the
that's
pumps
something I've been
after.
thinking about too, is I'm going in big on Litecoin, and I've been thinking like, man, would I be better off in Doge? Like, actually, that's what I've been
You would,
thinking.
according to the charts, you would be much better off in Doge, which is why my fund is actually really heavy Doge right now. Not to like talk our book too much, but we're really heavy Doge because of the cyclicality of what happens to Doge after Bitcoin has a halving and goes into price discovery. There is not a better performing like safe bet than Doge after Bitcoin halving. It is better than Litecoin. It is measurably better than Litecoin. I mean, Litecoin could do super well, but The Doge chart, I mean, we're just looking at the data, right? It's not emotions. It's just look at the data,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Okay. Remember I was showing you that chart of how Litecoin, Bitcoin looked just like Doge Bitcoin, right? I think
Mhm.
I had that tweet I pulled up from like Moonshilla, right? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
oh, check this out. See where Litecoin Bitcoin is right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it is quite comparable to where Doge BTC was on that second black line you have. Does it make sense?
Doge BTC on this
Right
black
there.
line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right there. See, I think Litecoin Bitcoin right now looks like that, to be honest. See, Doge
Then why not just hold Bitcoin because this barely moved up? I mean, it moved up a little bit towards like the
no, no,
final
no, no.
push.
I'm saying, okay, so see, Litecoin Bitcoin around the third line to me looks like Doge Bitcoin at the second line.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
okay, you're
See,
looking at
and so
this.
now you see Doge was a lot more flatlined for a while down there. It was.
Yeah.
And before you got this massive move up in 2021, you would actually say Doge Bitcoin was flatlined and compressing like Litecoin Bitcoin is right now. So I can see this third line on Litecoin Bitcoin ending up moving up like Doge BTC on the second line. So
Mhm.
I don't know, man, very speculative. But yeah, if we took away what happens after the second line on Doge BTC, and we only focused on like the compression that was happening between 2015 and 2020, I think that is quite similar, dude, to what we're seeing on Litecoin Bitcoin right now.
It
Do you
very
see what
well
I'm
could
saying?
be. No, I do. Like, I for sure see it. It's just impossible. Like, I feel like if you don't get that ETF approval, um, then you don't see this, you don't see this expansion. You're
Yeah.
not
So
without
honestly,
that
think what was
ETF.
the catalyst for Doge there? It was Elon mainly, right? So what could the catalyst be for Litecoin? Well, an ETF and also
Yeah.
some major players who realize, hey, we can run with this narrative. We can go claim our share of the digital silver market, right? Because who gets to call it digital silver? At the end of the day, right now, it's not really acting like it, but at any point, someone, big money, big people they can come and make that happen. Like, you know,
Well, there's no question that people should feel safe buying Litecoin, right? Like, is big money gonna feel comfortable putting, like, $1 billion into some new speculative asset? Probably not. Maybe they'll still dabble. They'll go out on the risk curve, but you have to consider, like, the risk of rug, right? Something like that. It's
there's no
scary to think
rig
about.
rug
There's no risk of rug with Litecoin. It is
unless we were
safe.
talking about earlier that there could be some black swan that I don't know of.
Right.
With my
Right,
Litecoin
and that's
nukes.
why it's a black swan, right? No one knows for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, it could totally happen. Here's the thing too, is like if you're making a bunch of money in meme coins, like you are, and I am, and other people here watching are, and you want to, rotate some of those profits into something that's more stable, and you're looking to maybe flip your 50x that you just hit into a conservative 2 to 5x. I
Yeah,
mean, what are we talking about here? Like
that is
that's a
part of the
smart move.
mindset.
That's a smart move.
And here's the thing is, not only do I see it that way, but another way I see it is Litecoin every cycle has hit $400. So why would this cycle be any different, right? Like, it always hits 370 to $400. I'll share my screen a little here. All right,
Yeah,
so
go
it's
for
like,
it.
why wouldn't it
Here
do
it
that
is,
this
right here.
cycle when we have
Here it is.
more money in the space, right? Or
All
here,
right, you
actually, okay,
are there you go. You're up.
yeah. So check this out, right? Over here, it hit 370. Over here, it hit, 400. Why would it not hit these levels again this cycle whenever total cryptocurrency market cap, in my opinion, is going to go to 9 to 12 trillion, right?
How did you get 9 to 12 trillion, by the way, before we get too much
Yeah.
deeper into this?
So from top to top, that's 3x, right? Or
Yeah.
298%. So I just say, all right, diminishing returns. Let's just take a guesstimate. And then I say, all right, 200%. Oh, that's 9 trillion. I
Yeah.
mean, what if instead it's like right? 250%. Oh, that's
Right.
10.5 trillion. So that's all I do. I just go cycle top to cycle top, and then I decrease that. And then you also have this trend line. So it makes sense that we could be getting around here, right?
That trend line is going to play, by the way. People make fun of trend lines and they think it's, voodoo. I'm like, this shit, just try it. This shit works, man. Do not fade a trading view trend line. But sorry, keep going, Crash.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously above here, right? This is a ton of new money that we have never seen in the space before, right? Above that high. So why, with all this new money in the space that we never seen before, should this not get back to these highs, right? That's the way I see it. Now, what's sad is, all right, you had that high right there. You had all this new money in the space, and Litecoin barely went higher, right? It actually just kind of matched the last cycle. And so the way I see it is, all right, you have all this new money. Litecoin still hits the high. It did not outperform, the previous cycle that much. So I'm looking at this worst case, we get back to the high, all right? And then first off, what's my worst case then? Based on my analysis is like, dude, am I going to complain about that? Absolutely not. You make 100x, you rotate into Litecoin, something that feels so safe with limited downside. I make 4.7x on my money. All right. I am not complaining when I rotate 100x into a 4.7x, first off. But once again, I have the potential catalyst and narrative that I can see playing out where finally this cycle, instead of stopping up here, we could break out with an ETF or with some new Michael Saylors who come into the game and say, we're going to turn this into the silver, into Bitcoin's gold. And Bitcoin gas fees are going to be awful. The network is going to be ridiculously congested. And so that opens up the next coin to being Litecoin, I feel like, right? So
How did you
that's
first, like, let me take one step back here. Like, how long have you been interested in Litecoin for, and what was the initial driver in getting you interested in investing in it? Was there like a moment for you? Did you speak
yeah,
with
for
someone?
me,
Did you use it? What was it?
the moment for me was in the bear market when Litecoin was outperforming Bitcoin during the bear. That to me, as well as I got tricked into loving. I mean, I know I do love Monero, but like Monero and Litecoin both outperformed Bitcoin during the bear market. Like once we started getting to, around here, because like, all right, let's say right here from October to February. Let's look at it. I just remember throughout the bear market, Litecoin outperforming basically everything. And that's when I started to like Litecoin. And then now when things are bullish, it's underperforming, right? But yeah.
I wonder if Litecoin hitting $400 again would be a good top signal. And the reason here, you keep going first and then I'll share. I just wanted to throw this out there as like a speculative idea. I'm just kind of tinkering on my
Okay.
end.
So check
But you
this
keep going.
out. This was the halving there, right? So the real move after the halving for Litecoin was made like 180 days. Jeez. So look at this, by the way. Off of this trend line, you have circle one, circle two, circle one, circle two. It's kind of the way I see it, right? This is right. This halving is right around here. So once again, circle before the halving, circle before the halving. Well, that's where you want it to load up, right? So I don't know. It's kind of like a pattern. Look, top, circle one, circle two before the halving. Top, circle one, circle two before the halving. Top, or are we finally going to break out? We're going to get an ETF and we're going to get these catalysts that I'm thinking we could get. So that's the way I see it. As worst case, we're going to get back up to here. Okay. And so here's the thing about that, man. Think about this. All right. We're around $77 in Litecoin. If we get back up to these highs, that's 370%. So for Bitcoin to go up 370%, you need Bitcoin to go up to, and this is just a rough estimate. I did not get an accurate measure there. You need Bitcoin to go to 300K. Personally, what do I feel more confident in happening this cycle? Litecoin getting back to these highs, or Bitcoin hitting 300K, I'm taking the bet on Litecoin. I don't know about you. What do you think? You rather bet on a 300K Bitcoin over a $400 Litecoin? Can you hear
Mm,
me?
yeah, no, sorry. I thought it was a rhetorical question for a second, but no, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think here's the thing, it's gonna happen quick, right? So, like, when
Yeah.
that rotation into Litecoin happens, it's gonna happen quick, and you're gonna have to be positioned in front of it and just have faith that it is coming, because once the ship leaves the station, man, it's probably, it's gonna teleport.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. I have no faith having conviction before things play out. Like, just like with meme coins, I know a lot of you guys have went into this stuff with me. So you're probably learning and feeling the same things that I've felt or seen because you've literally been in the same place as me. So like resistance dog, right? This is the number one meme on Telegram's blockchain, dude. Do you know it took a while down here, right? First off, it took a 78%, 80% dip, bro. And it was like a month of just people literally selling the number one meme on the entire blockchain down here before it goes up to here. So
Now
I have
everybody
no
wants it, right?
yeah, now everyone wants it.
Yeah.
And see, so this is another thing is like I have no problem buying when it's underrated and when people for some reason don't see it. And that's kind of how I feel with Litecoin. If everyone right now shits on it, and says that like why it's not even good and that it underperforms historically. And so although that's true that it underperforms overall, like I said, I see the potential catalyst for this to have its big breakthrough moment. But if it doesn't have the big breakthrough moment that I think it can, hey, at the very least, it should get up to here. And if it gets up to there, I'm a very happy guy making very good money in my worst
Yeah,
cases
especially
is what
because
I
you're
feel.
rotating 100x plays into something that's gonna pull a 3 or 4 or 5x, and that's a very effective strategy, and you guys, like, everybody can pick their own, like, safety vehicle of choice, right? For you, maybe it's Bitcoin. For somebody else, maybe it's Litecoin. For another person, maybe it's Caspa or ETH or whatever, right? Everybody has their own, like, security crypto. And not like digital security, right? I just mean like a security net, like their insulation. It has very little risk of rug unless there's some black swan or EMP that turns the internet off or something like that. Um, I mean, and the chart tells you everything that you need to know. I mean, Crash is very clearly articulating what is potentially going to happen and when, right here.
Yeah. So it's an unpopular bet, but like I said, I'm just highlighting what I believe is my worst case. And then maybe the catalysts that could happen do play out. And this actually outperforms and knocks everyone's socks off shockingly. And like I said, it's almost like Litecoin is suppressed down here, man. And so once again, is it crazy to think it could be suppressed before they try to get as much as they can before they approve ETF? It's pure speculation, bro. I don't know. But based on the charts, whether that's true or not, whether I'm just imagining stuff, like, hey, at the end of the day, I expect this to get back to these highs and I'm a winner, right? So yeah.
Let me show
Let's
you this on Litecoin. Let me show you this on Litecoin. You can keep your chart up if you want. We can move back to you too. I was just tinkering with this. Last cycle, you mentioned that 400 level, and I figure maybe there's some significance to it, right? Like worst case, maybe Litecoin ends up being like the ultimate oscillator for risk on. And you can see
mm-hmm.
here, I marked out with blue dots that the 2017 top and then pretty close to the first cycle top for Bitcoin in 2021. Both occurred when Litecoin was, in the upper 370 to 400 region marked by blue dots. So I'm curious again to see where the overall market is at when Litecoin is back at 380 to 400 bucks, when we're back at this line, because it has so far marked the previous two cycle tops. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, dude, that's super cool. But oh my god, this is art, man. This needs to be put in a museum. Like, I
I'll
hope
send it
people
to you. You
like,
can keep it. I'll send it to you.
yeah,
You can keep this
I'll
chart.
I'll take a screenshot too after the stream. but it's like, man, this is just like I said, these are the coolest charts in the world. So, anyways, look at around 2017 how well Litecoin performed there. Obviously, 2020, it wasn't amazing, but I mean, honestly, why would I say it's not amazing? It went from like what, $40 to almost 400. Like, this
Yeah.
freaking great money with no risk almost, you know? So that's the way I
Let's
see it, man. It has such minimal risk. It has almost guaranteed upside. And then it has the potential to blow the roof off of that freaking $400 chaos level of freaking marking tops
if you
for
flip
now.
that 400 level and it holds on the weekly time frame,
It's
nobody
a
has
thousand
enough.
plus dollar coin, dude. It's
No,
a
I would
thousand plus.
disagree. If it flips that level and it goes high, if it flips 400, it's probably going to 2,000. I think I mean, that's a very real thing. So let me show you what I mean here. So we'll talk about Pepe in a second, actually, because I know we both like Pepe, but I really lean into fib extensions. And man, yeah, this is a crazy chart, man. It almost looks crazier in linear mode. But in my
Yeah.
opinion, Crash, like you have such a clear range high here that if you and I don't know if it will happen or not, but if you do flip this 400 level, my friend, in my opinion, you tag this 1.618. I don't think it would stop short. I would find it very unlikely that if and again, I don't trade Litecoin a bunch, right? But just I am a chartist. Like here, here, clear range low. Let's throw a mid range on there too. Let's see if we have a decent mid. I'm betting we got a mid range that's gonna play here. Man, look at that. Holy shit. Right? Like, what are the odds? Like, why is this mid range playing? Why is this play? Is it a conspiracy? Is it a conspiracy? Nah, it's just TA. I'm telling you, if we do not just go up to 400 and reject, but if we come up here and we actually flip this, you're going to this 1.618. That's your target. And that right there is at 2,600 bucks. So I don't know if it'll happen or not, right? Like the stars have to align, but I'm just telling you, I think if it breaks out of the $400 ceiling, it goes to 1,000. My friend, you don't go through a half a decade long consolidation with potential ETF tailwinds only to pull a 2x above the previous all time high. You're going to the 1.618. You are, but again, it's not up to me, right? It's just like if we get there, then we address it. Then we figure it
Yeah.
out.
But see, that's the thing, is you can take on a Litecoin position here with such minimal risk. You can almost be guaranteed that it should hit back to those highs. But then once again, it has that potential to turn into the digital silver. It has the potential of having big money get behind it. And it has the potential to have massive ETF inflows, as it's one of the only things that is approved for an ETF alongside Bitcoin in the near future. Also, right? So was Ethereum ETF just approved in Hong Kong, right? I think.
Um, I saw some news about it. I know there's a little bit of hair on that deal. Like, I don't know if it's open to the public or not. I saw something weird, but yeah, there was some
Okay.
form of like a
So
Bitcoin and Ethereum vehicle
let's
that was
just think,
approved.
so what are the most likely things to get approved for ETFs in crypto? It's Bitcoin, right? Ethereum, and can we put Litecoin in the same conversation as those? I think we can, right? As most likely to get an ETF. How crazy is it that Litecoin is by far the lowest market cap in that conversation by so many multiples? It's actually insane. Like, let me look at the market cap of Litecoin. It's 5.7 billion, dude. And yet it is put in the same conversation as Bitcoin and Ethereum as a safe commodity, right? I mean, Ethereum is gray area, right? But the fact you can put Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin in the same sentence, and yet Litecoin is only at a $5 billion market cap. Meanwhile, these other things are, Ethereum is at 370 billion and Bitcoin is at 1.25 billion. I see something that is insanely undervalued when you're putting it in the same conversation as those things as commodities, and yet it's only at a $5 billion market cap, bro. Like, anyone can go on coin market cap and see that. So, bro, that would be horrible. I mean, it's not
Nah, that
horrible,
wouldn't
but
be
like
so bad. You're a patient man. You're a patient man. You
we'll make I'll
when
make
you
money,
finally
but
sell your Brett position at, 100 billion market cap, then you have plenty of time to rotate into Litecoin right here, right?
nah, bro. Brett is definitely not gonna do those numbers while Litecoin's down here for sure. But like, I wish. Oh my gosh, I would be a billionaire if
Well,
that
nobody
were.
knows, right? Nobody knows. We could have an entirely meme coin driven cycle and then, a major risk off period, and then it goes back to like a fundamentals type of cycle. Nobody knows, like only the charts know. So we'll see. I mean, clearly we can both agree that the cycle has been, largely meme coin dominated so far, for whatever reason. I have my suspicions
It
as
will
to why.
continue to be. But guess what? I think meme coins will dominate the cycle, but I also think we're gonna go away from all the bullshit junk L1s, right?
Yeah.
Like a Kava, like a Polkadot, like like a Cosmos Atom, like
Look at you just dropping names, man, taking bodies.
all these unnecessary blockchains that we don't need. I think these things are going to underperform hard this cycle. And so then what's going to outperform is meme coins, AI, and then I think we could see a transition from all that junk, right? All these junk L1s, all this extra L1s is going to switch back into currency. Bitcoin as currency, Litecoin as currency. I think these are undervalued currencies, especially as fiat continues to devalue. So I think if we get a more fundamental approach to the market, you know, and also people say I have a barbell approach. They say I go with the safest, like, stuff like Litecoin or Bitcoin. And then on the complete opposite end, I'm over here in meme coins, right? And so if that's the way I'm playing it, I wouldn't be shocked to see big money playing it like that too. Like, it makes sense. I think that's the best way to play the market. You have your meme coins, and then you have the very fundamentally sound at this point currency, and Bitcoin and Litecoin is in my opinion, like a currency too.
Yeah. Well, I do really appreciate how you're able to articulate your thesis, right? I mean, a lot of people just go, "Oh, like, oh, well, it's been around for a while, I'll just buy it." You've really put some time into it, and again, you're a technician, you lean into the charts, and I'm here, doing my best to, almost kind of poke holes in it just because I'm like, it's a good exercise. Like,
It's good.
let's see
I
if
like
Crash
it.
is wrong, like let's see if he's on sides here. I think you're on the right side of this one. You might be a month or two early, but I've always argued that I'd rather be a month or two early and exercise patience as an investor than be late and try to chase a move, and you have to be able to determine the difference between those. But guys, before we continue on with the show, do me a favor. We've got we got a lot of people watching. Looks like we got 1,400 people on YouTube and another 300 or something on Twitter. Do us a solid, guys. Hit that like button. It really helps push the content, helps spread the good word. It gets more eyes on this. And again, we're so appreciative of you guys coming here to support myself and Crash as we just kind of check out the market and hang out and do some TA and have a great time. And I see a lot of encouraging comments. So thank you guys so much for being here. But if you guys could just take one quick moment, I know you got headphones in, you're probably eating some food, maybe you're at the gym, you're like, I don't need to like the video, somebody else will like it. My like doesn't matter. Wrong. Your like matters. All right. Please
Oh,
take one
guys,
quick moment.
I
Yeah,
will
go ahead.
find a comment. I'll find a comment below this video. Whoever likes and comments on Max's live on YouTube, I'll make sure to go in the comments after this video. I'll find someone. I'll ask you for your base address, and I'll send you 333 bucks in Brett just for liking and making a comment. Uh,
Ooh.
only thing, only thing is, just give a honest comment. It doesn't need to be like it doesn't have to even be a kind comment. Like, I almost feel like I almost hate whenever I'm like, all right, I'll give away 333 bucks in Brett, and I get a lot of comments that are like, just like people say glazing me, right? I'm not here for that. Like, honestly, if you want to give me advice on like what's wrong with me or what's wrong with Max, I'm down with that. It doesn't have to just be like pure positivity only. Like, I'm also down for like feedback or just anything, but like it doesn't need to just be kind just because I'm just giving away like a little bit of bread, like you know what I mean. Don't be like nice just because I'm giving away just a little bread, you know what I mean. Then I hate that because I'm like, well, they're only being nice because I'm giving away like $300 in bread. So
That's super generous of you, man. That's a fun way to engage with the community, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, leave a thoughtful comment, guys. Just don't be mean. Constructive criticism is welcome, but that's real cool, you Crash. But yeah, guys, please like and subscribe. And again, if I'm sure most of you guys follow Crash. Obviously, he's been doing this for a while. So if you don't follow him yet, his socials are down below in the description. So definitely check that out. He's super active on Twitter or on X now. It's so awkward to say X, man. I don't think I'll ever be able to like get rid of Twitter, but super active on X, man. He is an account you need to follow during the bull market. I mean, honestly, and bear market. Just follow him in general. And also his YouTube is kick ass. So check that out as well. But Crash, if you're cool with it, man, I'd love to talk about Pepe. I'd love to talk about
yeah,
Pepe
let's
a
do
little
it.
bit.
I need Pepe to start performing a little better because I'm getting a little discouraged with Pepe simply on the fact that like
Yeah.
obviously I hold Brett and Bobo with size, and I'm watching those positions outperform Pepe to the upside and then to the downside, and it almost makes me be like, ugh, like I have a nice position of Pepe, and I was like, I want to see Pepe do really well, but then
Yeah.
it's like when it keeps underperforming what people are calling derivatives, right? It makes you think like, well, one, I don't think Bobo or Brett is a derivative. They're both standalone characters, and they're like, and that's the thing that kind of annoys me is when people say that Bobo or Brett is a derivative. Oh no, it's not a derivative. And then they're actually outperforming Pepe in every way. Like it's just getting a little frustrating. Like Pepe, like pick it up, bro. Like I don't know, he's annoying me. So let's go
Well,
over it.
let's go into the charts, man. Let's let the charts decide, right? So a derivative, like they're not directly derivatives, right? Like a derivative in its truest sense would literally be like what Polly did with pork, right? It's like that was literally like a fork of Pepe. Actually, I don't even know. Did he actually? Is it literally a fork? Point being is like Litecoin is a derivative of Bitcoin. Like it stems from it. It derives from it. Derivative. It derives. So it's like Brett is not a derivative of Pepe, right? It's not part of the contract. It didn't derive from it. But, given that they're in the same sort of niche genre subsect of crypto being memes, they play to the same narrative. And of course, Brett or, one of these other ones being, smaller than Pepe, they should act as beta. They're not really derivatives, kind of, but not really. They're more just beta, right? It's like Pepe is technically beta to Doge, right? Doge is the king meme coin. Why do you hold Pepe? Well, because I'm hoping to outperform Doge. Why do I hold Brett? Well, one, base is going to be big. And I think that, also my hoodie's sweet, but it's because base is sweet. They're going to onboard, millions of users, and Brett has established itself as the number one meme coin right now, far and away, on base, right? So, but again, you hold, the real promise to holding something like Brett, amongst what I just mentioned, is that it should, in theory, outperform Pepe, which is going to outperform Doge, right? Because the further out on the risk curve you go, the smaller market cap some of these new projects are, the higher returns you expect. Otherwise, you shouldn't hold them. I think we can all agree on that. So it's like this is a scary looking chart, though. I mean, this is not pretty, right? But at the same time, it's, in my opinion, it's not a death sentence or anything. So like we're looking at Pepe right here. Let's
I
just do
think it
some
looks
like
good, bro. I think it looks
I
good. It's
I
just that it's underperforming badly to the downside versus like if you measure from the top of Pepe down to where it is now, and then you measure, Bobo from its top to the where it is now, and then you measure from Brett to the top to where it is now. Like you can just see, like Brett and Bobo are holding up better, and it's just annoying me because I bought a 500K position on Pepe. I'm down like 150K on that spot buy. And then I'm watching
yeah.
my Brett and Bobo are just outperforming. I'm like, bro, like get your shit together.
But I don't think it's gonna be like that forever. Like and here's the thing about some on chain, right? Like when the market really nukes and corrects, there's really nowhere to hide except for almost kind of cult-like, smaller, mostly on-chain projects because they're usually a smaller part or smaller percentage of somebody's portfolio than like a bunch of spot Sol or a bunch of spot ETH or a bunch of spot whatever majors L1s. Okay, when the market's nuking, people don't really go, "Oh wow, it's time to dump my Brett and my Bobo and my whatever." They start dumping majors that are a huge part of their portfolio because they're terrified, right? So really, one of the only places you can find a bit of insulation when the entire market is nuking because a war is breaking out is actually some of these, more niche, on-chain, mostly on-chain projects. So again, this is a very weird time where Pepe has actually graduated out of that sort of niche, niche, almost exclusively on-chain, like kind of like sub community to Pepe's mainstream now. Pepe is a $2 billion asset. It was recently over 3 billion. This is no longer like an on-chain project that is potentially going to find insulation from a major event occurring globally. Pepe is an asset that is now most comparably, to it should be most appropriately categorized as not an on-chain meme coin that, is destined for greatness, but true Ethereum beta. Okay. So if we look up, for example, let's just put ETH next to it. Okay. And we'll go down to the lower time frame. Pepe is true in its truest form now because it has graduated from, in my opinion, just like a small. It started as small and it's grown very big, and this is part of its growing pains, right? It's ETH beta, right? Like these moves are somewhat similar. You can see them. I mean, you can see the highs are very similar as well, right? Like the chart looks the same, right? Like this is ETH on the right, this is Pepe on the left, and you can see here. Let's just take some measured moves, right? So ETH went down from its high minus 30%, and Pepe again peaked on the same day, but went down 63%. What you're trading here with Pepe now, for better or for worse, because it has graduated and matured, is you're trading ETH beta. If ETH goes up 5%, Pepe is going to go up 2 or 3 times as much, you know? And that's just how it goes. Like we can try to find some other little moves here. Like let's just see. It's never perfect, right? But let's see this move right here. Okay. Yep. Oops. I'll go from the bottom. So, and here I'll put this in red. This is what I'm talking about. So you can see right here, crystal clear, that when ETH goes up, I'll try to zoom in. When ETH goes up 16%, Pepe during that same exact time goes up 25%. So when ETH looks like trash, Pepe is going to look like trash. And by the way, that's a good thing to see your meme asset of choice maturing to a point where it begins to sync up with majors rather than just trading kind of randomly. Not that that's a bad thing either. I'm just saying like that's what's happening with Pepe. It's not going to perform well as long as ETH looks like trash.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So obviously, then we should look at the ETH over Bitcoin chart. Do you think it's bottomed? I mean, I do think it's overall bottomed. I do overall think we should be favoring ETH over Bitcoin, and then we may have the ETH ETF soon, right? Which would be a nice catalyst for Ethereum to outperform. So if we can be confident in the ETH over Bitcoin pair to start outperforming and doing well, which, oh my gosh, that's beautiful, bro. I think. I know a lot of people think that's bad, but like every time I see something undercut a low like that, I'm bullish. Look at the bullish divergence. Yeah. See,
What is
I'm
with
bullish on
this stupid moving average that it drives me crazy, man, that they put that yellow moving average on RSI, bro. Is so silly. But anyways,
it. Yeah. So I'm bullish on ETH over Bitcoin. Um, and see, as long as this is the bottom overall for that pair, then we should be good on Pepe. Like it, obviously it's no surprise. I mean, you think Pepe is going to 80 billion, right? I
I
think
I think over 50. I think over 50. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I hope so, and I in the charts it makes sense because if Ethereum does pick back up here over Bitcoin, Ethereum starts to perform better, then obviously we all know Pepe is going to just outperform Ethereum. So this is Pepe has done what it's done while Ethereum has been underperforming, right? It went up just 8x in like a month, right? So once again, if Pepe goes up 8x in a month when Ethereum's been shitting the bed versus Bitcoin, man, I'm looking forward to times where we're actually outperforming Bitcoin with the ETH pair, and we're actually in a much better situation for Ethereum and Pepe, right? So I mean, just think about that. In unideal conditions, in an unideal pair situation where ETH is underperforming, we still did what we've done. So from that perspective, obviously it's really good because, like, once again, you just got to think, okay, imagine once ETH starts outperforming, what Pepe is going to do.
Yeah, I mean that's the true sign of alt season. It's like we really just need to wait to get, once ETH is back above 4K, I mean, forget about it, man. Like everything is going to get sent. Right now we're swimming upstream because this is the ETH chart. Like look at the ETH chart, man. This doesn't look good. Like it looks heavy. I don't think it's going to nuke too much more. Like I do think a majority of the pain is actually over, and I think people shorting here are probably going to be in some serious trouble. Like, maybe we could retest these lows, maybe dip under 3K again, maybe. Again, nobody knows for sure. But when we do eventually spring out of this, right? We already discussed, like, Pepe is now graduated to ETH beta, for better or for worse. So, if ETH BTC on the right here is bottom, like look at this bull div. This is the crash special right here on the bottom. This is the crash
Yeah,
special,
my
the secret
favorite, bro.
sauce. And
That is,
they play, bro. They play really well. Um, but yeah, like if we just need ETH to bottom here. Like when ETH starts moving up, you're gonna see Pepe like V recover, man. There will be days when ETH gets back above, 34, 35, 34, 35, 3600. You're gonna see a day where Pepe's up like 27%. People be like, whoa, like we're so back. I'm gonna be like, it's literally just turbocharged ETH. So if you're bullish on ETH and you're bullish on ETH BTC here with this bull div and you're bullish on Bitcoin, then Bitcoin goes to 150K, ETH goes to 10 to 12K, wherever. And Pepe's ETH beta, what are we talking about here? You're talking about Pepe going up. If ETH is at 3K and it's going to go to 12K, which is a 4x, and we know that Pepe is, leveraged ETH, then you're talking about a 4x times, maybe a 5x outperformance from Pepe compared to ETH. 4 times 5, you're talking about a potential 20x from here on Pepe, at least. So again, it's just understanding the relationship and saying, yeah, the chart looks bad, but what am I really trading? I'm not
wait,
really
how'd
trading
you
Pepe here. I'm trading ETH, but it's just leveraged ETH.
how'd you arrive to the at least a 20x for Pepe again? I missed what you said right before that, like to get to that number.
Yeah, so let's just assume just a hypothetical, right? Let's just say ETH goes to 12K, right?
Oh yeah,
So right now it's at 3K, so there'd be a 4x from here, roughly. So that would get us to 12K. And if we expect Pepe to outperform ETH by, let's just say, 3x or 4x, right? Then what you're going to say is ETH goes up 4x from here, and I'm expecting Pepe to do at least 4 times, what ETH does percentage wise. So if ETH goes up 1%, I expect Pepe to go up 4%. So in order to figure out how high Pepe is going to go, if it's just trading as ETH beta, we say, all right, ETH is going to go up 4x, and Pepe is going to go up 4 times as much as ETH is going to go up this cycle. So we do 4 times 4. So
yeah.
16x. Yeah. So then Pepe
And
would go
also
up 16x. Yeah.
something that people should understand right now is in these like not optimal conditions. Hey, maybe right now Pepe goes up 2 or 3% when ETH goes up 1%. But as you get to the later stage of the bull market, it's going to be amplified. So maybe now Ethereum goes up 1% and Pepe is actually going up 7%, 6% in the later stage of the bull market where it's getting really euphoric and super juicy. So right now it may be a lower ratio, and then later it's really going to ramp up. So that's definitely something people should realize about that.
Yeah, 100%. I want to address a couple charts here. Bitcoin back under 63. That's fun. All right. I actually tweeted this out, but just to give people some perspective on time, there's a very clear pattern that plays out here for Bitcoin, and it's been playing out for a while now. And I put some time-based fibs in between all this. I have all the Bitcoin halvings marked out down here: first halving, second, third, fourth, fifth. And basically, this red line right here, this red box, is the 0.25 fib to the 0.5 fib, and then 0.5 to 0.75. And then, of course, the next halving would be 1. So it's just time-based fib. The pattern here is that before a Bitcoin halving, you're in this blue zone. Again, before a Bitcoin halving, you're in the blue zone. Before a Bitcoin halving, you're in the blue zone. And what do we see every single time? What price does is it basically just slowly grinds up. People feel as though it's a lot because they're coming out of a bear market, but it's really not. Then after the Bitcoin halving, you get into the gray zone. A lot more expansion to the upside. Things happen much quicker. A majority of the returns happen in this gray zone. But when do things actually top? They usually top somewhere between the 0.25 and the 0.5 fib. Again, in this red area. Again, it's happened every single cycle. There's no manipulation. It's just charts. It's just time cycles. So again, that would potentially put the true Bitcoin top out in Q3 or even Q4 of 2025. Right now, it's Q2 of 2024. So over a year from now, unless this time is different. All right. And this time could always be different, right? Nobody knows for sure. But I'm just saying we have here data going back to 2012, nay, 2011. And I'm just presenting the data. So unless a 13-year trend decides it's going to break right now, then we should probably expect that this time is in fact not different and be looking for an extended cycle, similar time-wise, that brings us all the way out into October of 2025. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, this shakeout's terrible. Is it over? I'm so nervous." And I'm like, dude, we have a halving in less than 1 week, and look at what happens. After the post halving for Bitcoin and crypto is the gray boxes. We're not even in the red area yet, you know? We're not even in the red area yet. We don't begin the red area, which is your de-risk zone, until literally 1 year from today, funny enough. Like to the dot, 1 year from today is when you get into the de-risk zone based on these time-based fibs.
Yeah, it's amazing, bro. Once again, guys, make sure you're following Max, because like, who else is putting these charts together? You know, seriously, this gives you a huge edge, and it just like, it's really easy to see this the way it's mapped out here. You know, so look, after the halvings, right? Each black line is the halving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, every time in the past after the halving we went up, but also before the halving we never made a new all-time high before, so it is slightly different, and that is going to be interesting to see. Okay, because what we've done before the halving is different to any other, move up before the halving.
Yep.
What's going to happen after the halving then? Hey, maybe now it's not going to be the exact same as every other time there. So this is the only thing that's maybe different. But besides that, to me it just feels like we're front running everything a lot sooner. And I don't know. I really don't know. Besides that, I'm just going to continue to follow the chart though, to the best that we can. Right? Yeah, there are some differences, but at the end of the day, like, overall, the big picture is still pretty clear, even if it's some tiny differences, And to bet against this, it just doesn't really make sense why you would, to me, right? Um, I know it's like some people think we'll have like the mother of all crashes starting now. I don't think so. Maybe I'm crazy, but like, look at the way meme coins are holding right now. To me, if this was the mother of all crashes about to start right here, like, I don't know, why are meme coins holding up the way they are? To me, that shows you there's a lot of money in the market that is willing to take on the risk. And like, I don't know.
Well, we're not there's unless we get a black swan, right? There's not any reason for markets to have a sustained and prolonged crash or correction right now. And I try not to talk about it too much because honestly, it's boring and people don't really care to hear about it. I only talk about it when I have to. I have a pretty, like, I would say above average understanding of the macro and how it affects Bitcoin and legacy. Um, again, I don't have a PhD in economics, but I understand it well enough to know exactly what the signals are for some sort of crash, and we are not seeing that right now. And I'm watching it every single day, and I'm not seeing that. There's very, very clear criteria for it, and I promise we're not gonna talk about it here because we don't need to get into a 30-minute spiel on macroeconomics and how it affects risk and, Fed tightening cycles. I've got a couple videos on my channel about that if you'd like to watch it. We don't need to do that here. But there is no reason besides a technical reset right now for there to be a prolonged or a newly sparked bear market. There simply is not. And again, I do watch it every single day. So I just wanted to present this here, as just to say, like, historically speaking, you are early. Like, you are in fact early. That doesn't mean that you are safe from 20, 30, 40, even 50% shakeouts on some of your altcoins, but on the higher time frames, if you're planning to accumulate and hold, you know, I'd say solid tokens or even just like playing it safe, like a Bitcoin and ETH or a Litecoin like Crash is interested in. Um, Historically speaking, again, as a technician, as a trader, all you can do is really look left. Technically speaking, you are early. And there's another chart that I wanted to show you guys about this as well. So we'll actually just remake this one. So the underpinning or the backbone of crypto is USDT, and I mean, for everybody knows what Tether is, right? If you're here, Tether is the largest stable coin in crypto. And this is USDT dominance. So USDT dominance is Tether represented as a percentage of the total crypto asset class. So real quick crash course. I keep saying crash, and it's funny because your name is Crash. I'm like, there's not going to be a economic crash and crash course. But this
Yeah.
chart moves up like this, that means that, like, it's bad for crypto. That it has a negative correlation with your portfolio, right? That means that more people are moving into stable coins. So I'll just draw this up real quick on the bottom just to show the relationship, and then I'll show you precisely what I think is happening right now. So here's Bitcoin down below. And again, the USDT or Tether it's the backbone of crypto, right? Like, when you've seen all the memes, right? When they print more, more Tether, markets typically go up because it gets deployed, right? So we have a very, very clear trend that we've been in here for quite some time. All right. So let's mark this out now. All right. So when we first touched this trend line, I'll put it in red. That was the top here in 2019. Next, we were kind of grinding against it here. This was the first distribution in 2021. How about the 69K double top? Again, we hit that trend line. It was perfect. So what just happened recently? We broke out of it. USDT dominance is moving down, and that happened right here. So again, just a real quick reminder. Chart is moving down, Bitcoin moves down, USDT dominance moves up. They move opposite of one another, and you can do TA on both, okay? So now that we've seen the relationship, here's what I think is gonna happen. I'm gonna remove Bitcoin because I just showed you that it has a negative correlation with it. You guys have already seen that. We'll remove these dots right here. We could probably also, well, yeah, here's what we'll remove this for now. So now we have USDTD. People are like, oh, we're doomed. Crypto's doomed. Here's how I look at it, right? Here is precisely how I'm looking at it right now. Is I look at it as we basically had this was our USDTD resistance all last bull market, and it held price up. This was your bear market right here. And we've since nuked through this level, the most important level on the USDTD chart, and are now coming back to retest it. And in my opinion, what's about to happen is it's about to roll over. And if it rolls over and obviously goes down, that means that crypto is going to go straight up in a straight line. Obviously, we just went over how they have a negative correlation to one another. Okay, so I think we're just coming back to retest, in my opinion, what is the most important level on the USDTD chart, which is right here. So imagine this wasn't USDT dominance. Imagine this was poop coin USDT, just some random shit coin that you found on some exchange that you wanted to trade. Okay. What I'd probably be looking at right here is, all right, this is probably my trade setup right here. And I'd probably be targeting like some of these lows, as a trader. This would probably be my setup. And I'm telling you right now, if this setup happens, and I'll just add on total right here. We'll put on total down at the bottom. And we'll put it in candles, try to make it look pretty. Put total in blue for you guys. And then we will move it up. If this happens, you got to understand that the negative relationship, the negative correlation between these two. If we see this play out right here, and maybe it takes, maybe it takes a month, maybe it takes, 4 months, who knows? Then what you're going to see here for total is you're going to see total go straight up in a straight line. So understand what you're really trading again, by trading some of these meme coins, you're actually just trading Bitcoin. By trading Bitcoin, you're really just trading how many stable coins are being deployed into the market, which is what we're looking at right here. So again, I just wanted to share this because, again, a lot of people are nervous, but I'm looking at this going, this is a concrete wall. This, 5% region, that's going to be tough to chew through. But I'll tell you, if price does this, we move back up here and then flip it again, you're in a bear market. It's over. Exit all markets. I'm not joking. Like if you flip that level and you move back up, exit all markets. But again, that's a long ways away. Things look, I mean, would you long this right here? Like, Crash, I've got a question for you, man. You're up here with me. Like, would you long this right here? I'll remove
No,
the setup.
no, bro.
Would you
When
look at
you
this and go, I'm gonna long poop coin right here?
definitely not. Like, I want to wait for longer time frame support levels, like longer time frame, a double bottom, right? Is usually what I want to go for. And so, where would I buy this chart? I would buy it down there at 2.5% or all the way down at 1.5%. Like that's where I would buy. That's where I'd load up. That's where I'd go all in. Oh, guess what? Going all in on that chart means I'd be selling the absolute shit out of the market at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And like this is it. I mean, look at this trend line. Trend line breakdown, retest. Like this is so bullish for crypto. But people are getting bearish crypto just because their portfolios are down in the short term. It's like,
Yeah. No, that's a really great like perspective to show people right there. That's a short setup. And personally though, like where I would have shorted is at the top because like look at it's a double top at the top. Like that's where I like to go short. I don't like to short once things are already like downtrending. But no doubt you would be short on this more than you'd want to be bullish on it. And then, once again, guys, look at this chart. If price comes down into that green box, that's where you want to start scaling out of your crypto profits, right? You don't have to sell everything, but you want to start taking some profit out at the very least. You'd be a fool not to start taking some profit in crypto as you approach that green box. See? So while everyone focuses on 150K or 300K or $500,000 Bitcoin, the price target's not what matters. It's the levels that matter. So as you approach these levels, that's where you start locking in gains. It's not about what price Bitcoin's at. You see what I mean? A lot of people, if they played like that, that's how they would be good at the market, bro. But people don't play it like that. See, bam, that's where you start selling crypto in that green box. People don't play the market like that though. They're looking at Bitcoin price. They're like, oh, it's at 170K. So let me show you, like, look at around 3.5%, right? Look at that squiggle there at 3.5%.
right here.
See, so okay, let's say Bitcoin was at 170K right there, and it was pulling back to 140K. I would remain bullish on the market, most likely, as long as there's no major bullish divergences. because I would expect that it will continue to hit that green box and go down to that level. See, now, what if down at that green box, Bitcoin's at 170K? Okay, then I don't care. In that green box, if Bitcoin's at 130K or if it's at 500K, I don't care about the Bitcoin price. I care about the levels. So I'm going off the levels, not off the price. You see? Yeah.
And that's why somebody, not to speak for you, Crash, but somebody like you who's in a public trade on Brett, who's up, millions of dollars, you're unwavered by any volatility. You're unshakable because you're trading levels, not dollar amounts or numbers.
Yep. Exactly. I don't care if my P&L is 5 million or 50 million right now. Like, it's just about the levels and the
Yeah.
overall where the market is headed to, in my opinion. And as we go to that green box, okay, we can start talking about profits more now. Once again, if you're up a lot of money, feel free to take some profits. Like, I have locked in some profits on resistance dog. I have locked in some profits on Bobo. So don't ever feel bad to scale out some profits when you're up, but know that most likely we're going to come down to that green box, and that's where majority of the money will be made. And so if you're taking any profits now, you are kind of selling yourself short of your potential. And once we get to that green box, I'm not going to be a moon boy. I'm not going to be telling everyone, go all into the market. It'll be the opposite. I'll be telling people, all right, guys, majority of the gains are gone now. Majority of the move has taken place. Now it's time to be more defensive and start taking profits. Now, of course, am I going to tell people if I'm up like 50 million plus dollars on bread and I'm starting to take profits? At that point, people are my competition for liquidity. So am I just like going to go publicly announce, or like it would almost be a FUD event? So this is why it's so damn important you pay real fucking close attention today, because obviously if I'm taking profits on Brett and it's worth 50 to $100 million later, I don't want to be announcing that to the world and creating FUD and like everyone being like, oh, well, the biggest whale in Brett is selling his Brett or something. Like, no, no, no. Like, I told you this through the charts with Max right here today, with the levels we're looking at that would make us actually be on edge and be more in the area of taking profits, right? So we're telling you all this in advance. You know, I mean, of course, once I've locked in a great deal of profit near what I believe will be the top, I'll tell everyone, all right, guys, I've locked in a majority of my gains. I'm like 80% cash, 20% crypto, or I'm 90% cash, 10%. And now I'll tell everyone and I'll try to protect them from any downside at that point. But I got to worry about myself first, right? I got to worry about scaling out of my positions. I got to worry about getting the liquidity that I can for me, right? And so at the end of the day, that's why if you pay attention to the charts, fuck me, screw Max, screw us all, because you can actually see this for yourself come the time later
I
in the
mean, we just
cycle.
gave you the roadmap right here. Like,
Yeah.
just recreate this chart on your trading view and set an alert at, 2.5% on USDTD, and just know that Max and Crash are twopping out of the market at that point. Like, but
Yep.
here it is, like you got it 6 to 12 months before that happens, but you can't say you weren't told, you know what I mean? Here it is.
I saw someone say this makes no sense. But once again, I'll just explain it again briefly to whoever said it doesn't make sense. When tether dominance is going up, that means more money is coming into stable coins, right? When tether dominance is going down, that means people are getting out of their stable coins and they're putting it into crypto. So that's why they're inversely correlated. Tether dominance goes down, crypto is going up. If tether dominance is going up, crypto is going down because more money is going into stables. So that's why we can chart tether dominance, and we can know where will tether dominance have support. Where is it likely to catch a bid? Where is it likely to not just collapse through?
Here,
Right. So
I'll try to make it even more clear. This is the last time. This is the last time I'll do it. So here's total down below. This is just like all of crypto. Just think of it as Bitcoin and ETH. Okay. Um, Total goes up, and at that exact same point in time, starting right here, you can look and see that USDT dominance is moving down, because the presumption here is that people are selling their stable coins, USDT, and USDC, but mainly here USDT, and they are buying crypto assets. So again, USDT down, total goes up. So again, like same thing. Let's just look at it right here, right? Just recently, here's total. Total went from 1 trillion all the way up to where the fuck are we at right now? We are at 2.5 trillion. And at that same point in time, USDTD goes down, down, down. And again, this is a foolproof negative correlation, all throughout time. Look, we'll even do one more. So right now, my thesis, it sounds like Crash and I share this thesis, is that USDT dominance is going to continue to drop. And at the same time, um, here it is. I should have made this red. You can see the relationship, right? We're both thinking that USDTD is going to continue to drop down here, which should send total higher, right? But that's quick
Ooh,
little crash
bro,
course for you guys.
I want to
Yeah,
show you something. Okay. I should probably pull this up on my own. It might be a little hard to
sure.
do. Let's see. Let's see. What time frame is this? Daily or weekly? Weekly. Okay.
This is weekly. Yeah.
All right. My charts, unfortunately, they don't look even close to as cool as Max. But let me show you what I can. Check this out. So, what I want people to notice is see this level right here. Can you see my screen now?
Yep. You look good.
Okay. So we didn't actually tag this level. We didn't pierce it. We didn't see, typically the market likes to pierce these levels. It likes to undercut them and then bounce. We didn't hit that level. We did not pierce it. So the chances that we're actually going to come back and hit this is very high. Look right
Mhm.
here how the market tops. The market pierces right above that previous high and then it drops. On Bitcoin, people will say it's hunting for liquidity. I don't know. Are you
It does the
hunting for
same thing on
liquidity?
US. I've noticed you can trade it on the lower time frames, and it does the same thing as Bitcoin. So if there's a set of equal lows there with untapped liquidity, it's more probable that we'll come back and tag them than not. So you are correct. That is a very significant
Yeah,
observation that you just made.
yeah, exactly. So we did not take out the liquidity there. So chances that we're going to come back there are much higher. And then, that's where you could actually be potentially worried is like, let's say, see, we're bouncing here. Let's say we come around back down and see as we pierce this low, if at that point you have bullish divergence, that could be a concern for us to not go down to this levels that we are anticipating where we will make life-changing money. See, that's what you want to look out for as something that goes against your bullish case. Is if it bounces, comes back down with bullish divergence on a weekly, that's bad. I don't want to see that. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean though that it wouldn't break down. Um, so
But here's the thing,
this
we
is
c
what
we could just like the ETH BTC chart crash, we could print 3 or 4 bull divs before it finally
Yep,
turns around. It doesn't always have to go on the first one.
exactly. That's very true. You know, um, Look at, I think Bitcoin went when I timed the bottom. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a triple. It was just like one,
I mean, kinda,
kind
you
of.
know? It didn't pop on the
Uh,
first one, let's put it that way. Like, it took a little bit of churning.
yeah. Let's see. Let's see.
And a prime example actually would be Bitcoin on the weekly time frame at the all-time high. Look how many bear divs it had to print before it
Yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
rolled over.
Exactly.
So it works both ways, like 4, I see 4 maybe.
Yeah. When I shorted the top in Polkadot, I believe it was like 3 or 4 bearish divergence at the top. So let's see. Um, this is a great pattern to short the top of the market, man. Is the more bearish divergence you see, the higher price goes, the better. So right here, the market went higher, strength went lower. Then
Mhm.
look at this, right? This is like my favorite, bro. Top 1, top 2, top 3, top 4. every single time it gets lower. So yeah,
Soft.
you can see clearly there, you know, you are setting a top through after 3 divergence, like 1, 2, 3. Actually, you could say 4, right? Like 1, 2, 3.
And those are the best ones where it takes not 1 or 2, but, like, 3, 4 over 6
Oh yeah.
months. Oh, dude, because the moves that come after 3 or 4 high time frame divs, whether they're bull or bear, powerful, which is why I'm actually so bullish ETH BTC, because I'm like, when this thing finally rips off that floor after 6 months of bottoming with 3 or 4 weekly time frame bull divs, dude, it's gonna God candle, you know? And all of our altcoins are gonna get sent.
Bro, I hope. I'm waiting for it. But also take a look at Polkadot, right? We talked about how on USDT dominance, right? Like they love to come down to the level and pierce it at least. So once again, see how in Tether dominance we didn't pierce that level. Now, if you look at Polkadot, look at Polkadot. So all these people who probably had their stop loss right below this wick stopped out, right? See, market loves to pierce those levels, right? See, this is a level. What does it do? It pierces it. Okay, this is
Yep.
good. This is good for the market. But whenever you don't pierce that level, once again, the chances you're going to actually have to go back and touch it are a lot higher. So, yeah. I think, as dog shit as Polkadot is, in my opinion, um, the chart is holding up like structurally really well. I mean, even though it broke down, like, it's held up here well. That's what you would want to see. And then, all these people who thought that they were going to get away with like longing Polkadot high leverage maybe or something, right? If they got stopped out, now it just makes more sense for the market to actually go up after that, because I don't know, the market's interesting. It doesn't really like it doesn't let everyone in the world just get away with like longing and making a shitload of money. Like it makes you pay your dues first. It like gets you out. It gets almost everyone. It gets as many people out as possible before it really goes. And that's why, you know, I guess you just look at these charts and you think, a lot of people right now are probably going to mess this up. But
I
yeah,
mean, a
uh,
majority will mess it up, and that's why I like being here is because last cycle when I was a beginner, in 2019, 2020, I had to learn really quickly, a lot of this stuff, and it took me a lot longer than it needed to because it's hard to know where to look. And I always just try to view myself as like, Max, if you were new again, just try to be the guy that you wish that you had around to listen to as a resource and learn from. Cut the bullshit. Try to save people as much time as you possibly can. People that are here listening, they just ultimately everybody wants the same thing. They want a better life. They want to make money for them and their family and their friends and have a better life. And it is a zero sum game, but I can't reach everybody. I'm still new here. I don't
true.
have a huge following. It's like there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, but I can certainly help the people that are able to find me, you know? So, here we are, right? Giving this information for free. You have the playbook. All of you guys, listen to what Crash is saying. He's telling you everything right here. He's not holding anything back.
Yeah, I'm seeing a guy say 52K Bitcoins programmed, and if we hit this level here at 5.3%, that would probably actually coincide with what he's saying of hitting 52K, unfortunately. So, like that's just being objective, right? If we see tether dominance continue up to here, which it seems pretty fair. It really does seem like very fair to come back up to this level, right? I don't know, does that translate to Bitcoin hitting 52K or maybe like 58 or 60K again, right? So yeah, it's not looking great right now, short term.
It's
But
possible. It's possible.
I mean, dude,
And just
I
know,
think it's
guys, if
far.
if that does happen, your alts are gonna get murdered, like completely murdered. Like you have to know if Bitcoin goes to 52K, your alts are gonna get murdered. Okay. I don't know if it'll happen or not. I'm just saying it will get murdered.
Yeah, unfortunately for the short term. But let's say like worst case in the market there's 20% is how I feel, right? It's like, dude, 20% downside is not going to kill you, but what is going to make you is the upside. Like that will change your life. A little bit of downside will not change your life. So,
Unless you get liquidated, which don't get liquidated, guys.
yeah, as long as you're not on high leverage, you're good. So,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. 52K. Ugh. I don't want to see it, but hey, if we have to, you just got to be prepared, right? And
Oh.
you got to be like, okay, hey, look, objectively, we could hit 52K. We could hit even 48K. All right. No one wants to admit that that's possible, maybe, but like, all I'm going to say is, I am just going to stay bullish all around here, bro. Like, I don't care if it's here. 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 Here, I'm bullish, bro. Right? Because ultimately, look at this bowling ball of momentum I just created through my drawing on accident. This bowling ball is going to hit us a strike, bro. Look at that. Bro, call me Picasso on steroids now with my fucking drawing. Uh, we're going to fucking strike here. So, whatever. We got to
Look at
gather our
that. Look
momentum.
at that bowling ball, man. That's unbelievable. Let me steal the chart back for a second. Look at
Okay,
this,
okay.
guys. Let me look at okay. This is USDTD. And this over here is just Bitcoin. So this idea of 52K, right? In my opinion, worst case for man, it'd probably be I'm not in the camp that we would fill all of this in. I think that we would maybe fill in
5.4% max, bro, I think.
like this. This would be worst case for USDTD. Okay. So let's get these to look the same. Okay. So I'm looking at this right here going, all right, if this level on USDTD gets hit, that basically means this level right here on Bitcoin gets hit. So that would be 5.3-ish, and then I would think it would roll over. And for Bitcoin, that would probably be like 56, not 52.
Okay.
USDTD can go down more because this is altcoins as well, because people buy altcoins with Tether, right? It's not just Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is going to be the one that bleeds the least amount. So in my opinion, this is the path for Bitcoin. Like worst case right now would be like 56, maybe 55.8. Like if shit hits the fan, okay? And that would probably be again USDTD up at 5.3%, which I'm not really like anticipating, but like it's on the table, okay? Like it's on the
Dude, I
table, but like
I really do. I do believe, like, see, we're both bullish. I think Max, you don't want to admit that I think it's more likely to hit that green box in USDT dominance, which means I do think we're more likely to go a little lower, bro. And like I hate to admit it, but I think it's more likely we're gonna rise up to like 5.3% USDT dominance, which means my bags are about to lose some value probably. And you know what? Oh well, I'm prepared because I can still see through the charts visually. Like, all right, my positions may lose some value here, but it's short term, and you know, I'll just try to buy as much more as I can, and ultimately, I have trust and faith in the charts here, and I do think we'll top out there if we hit that, and then we'll be back to good. So I'll be able to withstand any short term pain, and it's just the beautiful thing about that is, hey, maybe it doesn't get there, and maybe you're right, and things are just better than that. But hey, if it does get to that point, I'm prepared. Like I am positioned in a way that, hey, I'm not gonna, get wrecked. Should that
so
play out?
here's the thing. I don't know if it's more likely or not, and I don't care because in my opinion, if I were to sell right here everything I own, at 63.4K Bitcoin right now. We're at 63,360. I'm rounding up. 63.4. And I'm going to say, okay, like, Max and Crash were talking and these guys know what the fuck they're doing. And, they said that it's more likely than not that we're going to go down to 57K. And it doesn't happen. And we turn around here, and in a bull market, it's actually more common than not for the perfect level to get front ran, um, because there's simply that much demand. What I would never do is sell my whole bag in hopes of buying back what percent
Oh,
even lower would
no,
that be
absolutely not. Not for
from
this
here?
minuscule downside, bro. That's
10%? Fuck
yeah,
no.
that's not worth selling to try and buy back 10% lower. No, absolutely not. Especially if you're working with bigger positions, forget it. Like you're not going to be able to sell to just buy back a little bit lower, right? But that's
Yeah.
the cool thing is I just seen someone comment, I'm scared of any incoming pain. Like we're showing you the chart right now so that one, you're prepared for okay, there could be a downside, like objectively based on the chart, but we're prepared for that. So we're not scared of it. We're just trading it based on what is legit could happen here, which USDT dominance could hit 6.3%. Bitcoin could hit 57, 58, 55.
Whoa,
Right?
whoa, whoa,
That's
6.3. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you talking
fine.
about?
No, I thought
6.3%.
I must have said it on accident. I must have misread it.
Okay.
5.3.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say, Crash, if that happens, it's over, bro. We're exiting all markets. That's not happening.
Yeah. See, we're chilling because we're prepared for what could be the downside here. And so we're gonna create our positions in a way that's gonna allow us to win regardless of that not pleasant outcome for the short term. But we're gonna manage it so that way we come out on top regardless of that, right? So we're not scared. And nobody should be scared of a little fucking 10% downside. If you are, I don't know what you're doing in crypto.
It's a sell-off for ants. It's nothing. You gobble that up, man. You gobble up that 10% zip. Crash, you wanna talk about bread a little bit? I'd like to talk about I don't know, say
Some
more
memes, yeah.
some niche meme coins. I got a couple that I'd like to share that I'm in, and I figure what
Okay.
an opportunity for you to talk about some of the stuff that you're in as well. You wanna talk about Brett?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'll
I'll
share some of mine afterwards, so
Yeah. You guys know we did like a lot of I guess fundamental and narrative anticipation and analysis just now on Litecoin at the beginning of the stream, right? So just how I can break down fundamentally how I think Litecoin can break out and do really well. Like I think a lot of people with meme coins, they don't have any fundamental reasoning behind why their meme coin should do well. So when you can actually get some fundamental reasoning going behind your meme and why it's going to grow, it really is an amazing thing. Like, so I'll just show everyone who maybe doesn't know about Brett, right? It's the number one meme on Base. Today on Base, there's around 4 million users, but of those, some of those are like multiple addresses, some of these are bots. Coinbase app has over 100 million downloads, right? And so they're about to integrate their smart wallet, Coinbase smart wallet, which is going to make every single user on Coinbase is now going to be directly plugged into Base. Like they're removing the difficulty to get over to Base. So now you're going to have all these people with direct access to Base. And so as these people are plugged into the network, right? Let's say 50 or 30 million of those people actually you know, I guess have any activity with the network. Like we're about to go from 4 million to probably over 30 million users with ease in the short term. So if we are at a 665 million market cap with 4 million users on chain, what do you think the market cap is going to be when you have 7 to 8 times more people on this blockchain, right? It's kind of like a proportion. 4 million users for 665 million market cap. Well, now think 30 million users for what market cap? Like it's going to go up proportionately, in my opinion. And maybe the proportion won't be exact, but it'll be somewhat, there. Does that make sense? It just makes sense. The more users and the more money you have coming over to this blockchain, a certain percentage of them are going to buy the number one meme on Base. And so, like, once again, if we anticipate in the short to medium term, we're about to have 30 million new users come after us. And on average, these guys have $100 each, right? That right there is $3 billion of money flow. Okay, 3 billion that's about to come over to this network. So then if we can think, see how I'm working through the numbers. I'm like, okay, there's X amount of users I anticipate, which means there should be X amount of money. And then I can position myself before that money. And then I'm like, okay, if there's $3 billion coming to this network, fresh new dollars that are not here today, some of that money is going to find its way into the number one meme on the chain. Probably actually, I pretty much know this for a fact. The number one meme on the blockchain is going to be the main beneficiary of all that money flow. And so if I see $3 billion are about to come into this network, and some percentage of that is going to find its way into here. Well, in the LP right now, there's only about $4 million worth of Ethereum in the LP. So, like, obviously, if just 1% of that came over, that's $30 million coming into Brett. $30 million coming into a $4 million LP is going to send this past a $2 billion, $3 billion market cap, you see? But that's just 1%
Crash,
of that money.
you tweeted the other day that no, in the history of crypto, no project has ever reached 1 billion without then going to 4 billion. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I don't mean to misquote you.
Besides Book of Memes is the only meme coin that I can recall that ever hit 1 billion and didn't go on to hit 4 billion. So if you go to CoinGecko, by the way, right, I want you to look at the giants that Brett is kind of with now. By the way, meme sector is number 10 in the world, 50 billion market cap. But anyways, the market cap of Brett here, it says it's 550 million. It's actually 665 million, which puts Brett above this right here. So now I just want to ignore all meme coins and just look at the meme coins here. Dogecoin, SHIB, Dog with Hat, Pepe, Floki, Bonk. Doesn't pretty much every single person in crypto know what these meme coins are? Like, who in crypto doesn't know what this is, right? This is such an elite class of meme coins that Brett has elevated into now, right? Once again, their data is wrong here. That will be updated, I'm sure. So this is the elite class of meme coins Brett has joined now. And so you have some very similar characteristics. You have the number one meme and commodity network ever, Doge. You have the number one meme on Ethereum. You have the number one meme on Solana. Okay. You have the number two meme on Solana. You have number two and number three memes on Ethereum. So, once again, Brett is the number one meme on Base. So is it pretty logical to think that the number one meme on Base could beat the number three meme on Ethereum? Yes. What is the number three meme on Ethereum at? 1.4 billion. So I think Brett is already more valuable than Floki, but I don't think the market has realized that value yet. Is it fair to say that Brett could actually be worth more than the number two meme on Ethereum? I think it's not a stretch, but it's more like a one, it's just something to consider. Like, something I've noticed recently is Pepe has 200,000-ish holders, 203,000. Brett already has 75,000 holders in a single month and a half right now. And the holder count's growing at like 2,000 to 3,000 holders every day. So it's growing a lot faster than Pepe and holder growth. So here's the funny thing, right? Is some people like to think like Brett is a derivative. First off, it's not. But second, you got to realize because it's the number one meme on its blockchain, for that reason, it's going to get a lot more holders. And potentially it could get more holders than the number two meme on Ethereum because it's the number one meme on Base. Does that make sense? So it's just something to consider, is the amount of holders this can reach, the amount of people this can reach. And also, let me do a little proportion here. If with 4 million users on the network, we have 75,000 holders, right, let's take a proportion once again. And so if this times 7.5, well, when we have 30 million users on this network, times this by 7.5, you now have what? 500K users. You see? 500K holders. And it makes sense because it's the number one meme on Base. So if we're at 75,000 holders today, and I can proportionately see pretty likely and pretty logically that we're going to have over 500,000 holders in the near future, That means that's 430,000 new people that are about to buy after you, bro. Like, actually just think about that. Think of a room like with 1,000 people. Now think like a massive freaking room with like 430,000 humans buying after you. Like, you're factually front running hundreds and hundreds of thousands of new people that are about to buy Brett in the coming months in the year. Does that make sense? So once again, that's always what I'm trying to do. Front run the money, front run the people that will buy after me. That's how you make money in meme coins. You see that? So hopefully the numbers kind of make sense, and that can give you true confidence to front run people, and where you know that you're front running the money. And it's not a question. It's just a matter of like, it's just going to take a little time to play out, right? These numbers are going to play out. It's just a matter of time, right? So yeah, that's why it's like obviously my most confident bet in meme coins. You guys know I'm up around, 4.6 million. And here's the thing, guys, I could go sell this right now and I could get $3 million out. What the fuck? Like, you know how that would be a massive disservice to myself and to the potential of this fundamental analysis of these numbers, and also understanding that's the number one meme on base. Like, I would be shooting myself in the foot to walk away today with $3.2 million of profit. Like, that's actually disgusting to even think about. What a horrible thing I'd be doing to myself, as crazy as that sounds, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I just want 3 million, I'd be done. Well, that's why you're
Well,
not
there's
going to
too
even
much
make
potential,
million.
bro. I mean, we just talked about like the USDTD path. It's like, imagine we go down to 2% on USDTD and Bitcoin dominance capitulates and we get altcoin season. And all of these, millions of new users get onboarded into base. What do you think the number one meme coin that they're going to buy is? What do you think it is? It's gonna
It's
be the
Brett.
number one. It's gonna be Brett, right? So it's like you selling now would be probably the most short-sighted decision you could possibly make. Furthermore, the most emotional, one where you would be focusing on the dollar amount rather than the actual play and leaning into the technicals and the fundamentals. And I commend you because
Exactly.
most people wouldn't have that discipline. They'd say, fuck, I'll take my 3, 4 million bucks. I'll go buy a house. I won't worry. I'll chill out for a few years.
Yep.
But that's not you because you
But
understand what you're trading here. You're not trading a P&L. You have a
it's not
position and you're waiting for it to mature. It's that simple.
exactly. And so here's the thing, by the way, people who trade their P&L are probably never going to get rich because they don't actually have the
Yeah.
skill or the foresight or the understanding of the charts and what's actually happening. Therefore, they're trading. As soon as they're up 10K, they take it. As soon as they're up 50K, they'll take it.
Yep.
100K, they'll take it. So you'll never actually make real money if you're just trading based off of your P&L, because you're totally missing the actual reasoning that goes into a trade or a thesis. So
Yep.
that's why if you're just trading the number on your screen, bro, you do not know what you're doing.
You
But yeah,
gotta turn it off, man. It's like playing poker. You can't view it as money until afterwards. Like it's just ammunition. It's just a position. It just represents a thesis. That's all that it is. It doesn't matter if you're up $10. Doesn't matter if you're up 10 million bucks. You know, you have to let the trade play out. The number is just it's a byproduct
exactly.
of
See,
analysis. That's all it is.
people, bro, right? If I was up $200 million right now, I still wouldn't be interested in selling. Now, if I was up $200 million when Bitcoin's above, 150, 200K, okay, that is when we can talk about taking profits. If when we gave people the absolute fucking gem of the cycle, that most people are not paying attention to. When
Yeah.
Bitcoin dominance rolls over and comes into support, this is when I'll start to care about whatever that P&L is. Okay.
Yeah.
But see, if I'm up $200 million here, I don't care, because if I'm up $200 million here, that means I'm going to be up billions over here. But see, obviously I'm not up 200 million here. I'm not going to be up a billion there. But what I am up is around 4.6 million here. And whenever this chart plays out, I'm going to be up over 50 million, possibly even 100 million here, is the way I see it. See, so a lot of people say, oh, Crash is greedy right now. No, 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 no. It has nothing to do with greed. It has everything to do with I'm playing the bigger picture in the charts, and I actually understand the levels, and I actually understand that, the real money is made when Bitcoin dominance rolls over, and
Yep.
Bitcoin dominance hasn't even rolled over. So this is legitimately preseason. Like, we have not even started the show for meme and altcoins. So yeah, it's not about the P&L. It's not about being greedy. It's about emotionlessly trading the charts and what's actually in front of us here. So yeah.
100%. Speaking of charts, by the way, this was beautiful, guys. I'm super bullish on Brett for all the reasons that Crash just mentioned, man. I'm obviously not, heavily invested in it. It's really more of, it's more of his play. He's been spearheading, this play since it was literally nothing, man, and he's fucking killing it, and it's probably going to go down as one of the most epic trades that somebody has ever done publicly, which is why I'm supporting him, man. I'm supporting him on his journey towards going down in the history books with this trade. I got my Brett hoodie on for him, but again, Brett's not a huge position I focus on, but Crash is fucking killing it, man. And I mean, man, he really understands this game. He understands the charts. He understands that it's not about the number. He gets all this stuff. But Crash, if you're done, man, I'd love to share,
Yeah,
my meme
you go
coin of choice, one that I'm real focused on. But yeah, guys. So a lot of you guys that follow me, that I've been focused on Andy. Now, Andy, the reason the background on how I found it is I was browsing Deck Screener looking for, just kind of some things on the floor. There's been this whole like Pepe verse narrative, and Andy was one that I hadn't really seen take CT by storm yet. And I saw this one sitting on ETH, and I noticed that the contract address started with 0x68 and Pepe starts with 0x69. And in Matt Fury's The Boys Club, Andy and Pepe are friends. And I figure, well, there's been some attempts to, have an Andy on other chains, but it would make a lot more sense to me that Andy, a friend of Pepe's in this Matt Fury comic series, would be on Pepe's native chain, being Ethereum. And actually, it's worked out quite nice because we've actually seen a lot of Pepe whales begin to aggressively accumulate Andy and support. So it's really cool. What's awesome about this project as well is that I realized that this project, this meme coin, is 97% community owned. Some say that's not a good thing because there's not a huge wallet sitting there, or we can, easily plow through exchange listings and pay for marketing and stuff. But I actually say it's a great thing. And the reason it's a great thing is because we are building a grassroots army and have been crowdsourcing deep six figures to basically pay for everything that we need, which is just awesome. It's a fantastic project to be a part of, and nothing has ever been done like this. No project has ever gone basically from zero without any insiders, without any wallet set aside for exchange listings or KOLs or marketing. And this is all literally just a bunch of like minnows, dolphins, sharks, and then some whales all pitching in under a collective and a common objective. And you guys know me, I'm a technician, right? We're pushing 2 hours right now. You guys see the charts that I make. You guys see the stuff that I focus on. What got me most excited about Andy was, yes, there's the fundamental thesis where it's tied to Pepe through, Matt Fury, the creator of Pepe and the comic series, Boys Club. And then, of course, the contract address on ETH is 0x68 and Pepe 0x69. But what gets me most excited about it is the chart above all else. And I've been tracking this thing, and I first called it out publicly here on YouTube at sub 5 million. I did some analysis when it was lower. Right now, it's sitting at about 67 million. I cannot believe how closely it is tracking the fractal of Pepe from last year. And here they are side by side. Here's Andy right now on the left, and here's Pepe on the right. You could feel any type of way you want about it. You could say, I don't like the meme, I prefer other ones. I'm a technician. I lean into the charts. And when I look at this chart, I say, well, I'll be
Bro,
damned. I
that
wonder
is
if we're
so
taking this.
bullish. I don't have any Andy, but this chart, like, it really makes me want to fucking go in. Like, cause the charts don't lie. Like, look at this, man. Because, I've always thought, like, all right, Andy on Blast. To me, that one has made sense because it's yellow on the yellow blockchain. But where is Andy on Blast now? I think it's like dumped to shit, to be honest. And so You see, I'm not one to argue. Like, remember how I was talking earlier about like how I feel like Caspa is overvalued, and yet I'm still going in big. I feel like Litecoin is way better than Caspa, but I'm still buying Caspa. I feel. Learn to separate yourself from how you feel. You see, sometimes it doesn't fucking matter how you feel as much as it matters what is actually going to go down. See, so many people stop themselves from making money because they only focus on what they feel instead of what's actually going to happen. And when you show this chart and we set aside how I feel, like I felt like Blast Andy is, I thought that was the one. Well, the market feels a different way than me. The market thinks something different. So, you know, who really cares about the feelings at the end of the day? If Andy is gonna fucking blast off here, like that Pepe chart, can you measure that Pepe move? Kind of
I
like from the
can.
midpoint.
Yeah,
Are you able
I
to?
can. And actually, I've got another one I'm going to share as well because this is just the first leg on Pepe, right? So from Pepe, we'll just say right around here. This is about. Oops, it's not showing it. We'll take a measured move with this tool instead. So from this midpoint, this is about 400% right here. But to be clear, this is actually I've got a different fractal which actually shows the entirety of the move. So it actually gets crazier, and again, I've been tracking this literally since 5 million, and it is literally following the Pepe playbook to a T, man. And again, I'm not greater than the market. I just trade the charts, and the charts are telling me one thing, and I have a decision to make. Whether I want to feel as though I can control the narrative or just submit to it as a market participant. So I look at this and I go, how the hell are we tracking literally perfectly? Is it because Pepe whales have started accumulating? Is it because we have a similar market maker, which we do? Is it because we're timing out our centralized exchange listings the same way that Pepe did? By the way, we've got 2 more coming this week. We are like chugging along. And additionally, everybody that wanted out of this pump that didn't understand, there were plenty of people distributing in here. And when we went under the most intense stress tests, when there was a war that broke out this weekend, one of the quickest names to recover was Andy. All of the sellers, all of the people that wanted to get out are gone now. Now we just have holders. I haven't sold a single thing because my thesis is somewhat similar to yours, Crash, where I'm only interested in selling my Andy or my Pepe or any altcoin when I see Bitcoin dominance going down, for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So again, so far we are taking this playbook one for one. So if it does continue to play out, Pepe peaked at about 1.5 billion. This would take us to just shy of a billion right up here. Taking a measured move from roughly where it's at, Pepe went up 1,353%. And that would take Andy, basically up here. This would be about a 12, 13, 14x from here. And again, it would happen in, maybe the next couple weeks or so. And, again, it's just incredible how they are lining up so similar. It's like you can say or feel, like whatever, people want about the chart or, this or that, but it's like, look at the chart, bro. Like it's literally like it's doing it's doing the same thing, man. It's crazy, Like you can't make this up. You can't make this up with centralized listings right around the corner. Um, it's pretty incredible, man. So yeah, just wanted to throw this out there, man. It's something that I'm working very hard on to help these guys out. Again, it's all community run. And again, we are, for whatever reason, we are taking it right out of the Pepe playbook, man. I'll just pull up this first chart again. But it's a really awesome, it's an awesome story, right? Like it's kind of an underdog story. It's a project that didn't have any funding. There's no insiders. There's no, anybody to fund this thing. It's literally, I put up a community wallet for everybody because I was like, we need exchange listings. We raised over $200,000, $250,000. I personally put in 90,000 myself, and we got listed on MEXC. And we've got 2 other exchanges coming later this week, maybe a third. And the chart looks like this, So it's like, again, I'm a technician, and until the chart looks different, I'm going to continue to just I'm going to continue to just roll with the punches, man, because the market speaks. I just listen, But anyways, it
I
looks
mean, it's a
really interesting.
fact. It's a fact that Andy is held up pretty much better than any meme in the entire market, really, to be honest. Like, that's feelings aside, it has. I can't deny it. And anyone who wants to deny it or hate on that or shit on that, that's on them. Are these people probably allergic to money? Yeah, probably. Have they even made like $50,000 in the last year? Probably not. So, then I just look at these people who are shitting on this. Like, I don't have a position in Andy, but you're making me want to buy in like right now through this chart, because I'm not someone who is going to fight the chart or be emotional towards it. If I see a chance to make money and I see what you're showing me, and by the way, right, you have your own take on the chart. Now it's up to me to decide as a participant in the market, do I see what you're showing me or do I completely disagree? Does it make sense? Are you lying to me, or is it something that it's not? And from what I can tell, you're literally just laying out the facts to me. You're showing me, look,
That's it.
the pattern is the exact same as Pepe. It's holding up better than anything in the entire market. Do what you will. You're not telling me I have to buy or anything. You're just putting it up there for me, and you're making me want to buy because, I mean, look at it. So,
Yeah. I
I
mean, you
mean,
could,
look, I'm just gonna say I have not bought in any Andy. I have zero. I'm pissed Max didn't tell me earlier about Andy. Uh, but also I never told Max about Brett earlier. I mean, everyone here who follows me, you guys got into Brett at like 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 10 million. Everyone, found out about Brett early. I wish I got into Andy earlier. Um, but
I
this
mean,
is
hey,
looking
you
pretty
always feel like you're late, right? So, I mean, like we're looking at Andy and we were looking at Brett earlier, right? It's like we've seen
Oh,
Brett
I'm
go
not
to
saying it's true,
700
bro.
mil market cap and Andy go to 70 million right now. Well, Bitcoin dominance has been in an 18-month uptrend. I mean, what if Bitcoin dominance starts to nuke for 9 months? What do you think that the charts are going to look like then? You're going to see Andy at 2 to 5 billion. You're going to see Brett over 10 billion. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It's like people always kind of feel like they've missed it. I mean, dude, I felt like I missed Pepe right here, and I actually ended up buying some Pepe right on this breakout. And then I wrote it into the Binance listing up here and sold near the top, which was, I was very thankful to be able to do that. But I felt like I had missed Pepe because I saw all these guys, they were flashing like they turned $1,000 into $1,000,000 and all this stuff. And I was like, dude, I missed this. But then I submitted to it because of how the chart looked. And I remember I have literally, you could go back on my Twitter if somebody wanted and try to find me. I was posting this setup and I was like, this shit is curling. And I threw 15K at it right here, like publicly. And no one cared what I was doing at the time on Twitter. But I submitted to the chart. Like I capitulated in and I said, you know what? If this thing goes on to go to $1 billion market cap, and right here, Pepe was at maybe like it was 9 figures, it was like 100 or 150 maybe. I said, if this thing goes on to pull another 10x, I'm going to feel like crap about myself. It was an emotional insurance policy because the chart looked good. And who am I to say what the chart is doing is right or wrong? And I'm just here, like you said, Crash, I'm just here presenting the evidence to people. I'm like, I'm holding my full bag. I got in lower. I haven't sold a damn thing. And whether I sell is not dependent on what number I'm up or down. I can't believe that we're living in like a Black Mirror episode and they're going to let us run back the Pepe playbook from 2023. I, I I'm so thankful that we get to run it back again. Like, look at this chart. It's not made up. Like, this is literally here on TradingView. You can put it on your own chart, everybody. Like, I can't believe how this chart looks right now, and it's just, you're a trader, right? If you're listening, you're a trader, you're an investor, you have to decide for yourself if you like how it looks. But I'm looking at this going, what the hell, man? This is literally
You know,
tracking one for one right now.
another
Unbelievable.
way I
It's just
look
a
at
trade.
it, what's the probability if I put 15,000 into Andy right now? The probability I will double my money based on this chart, extremely high. I believe that. That's my analysis. Someone else can look at this and say, "Oh, this time's different," or "I don't think so." Okay, that's your take. When I look at this chart, I look at it. I'm like, all right, if I were to put 15,000 into Andy here, set aside my emotions, my feelings, whatever I think, and just if I put 15K, will I be up 30K? I'm like 90% sure I would be up on going into Andy here. And then guess what? If you're up double, you can sell half of your position, and now you're riding risk free on what could blow up, or maybe it doesn't blow up as much. But when you see a high probability to double or triple your money, to then sit there and be emotional and hate on it instead of just be like, okay, how about instead of me complaining like a little bitch, I fucking put in a little money, make some money, pull out my initials, I'm riding free. You know, dude, you're about to make me buy a bag of this shit. Um,
I mean, it could just be a
obviously,
trade for you. Like, obviously, you're just, you're supporting me and you like the story and you're a trader. Like, you see a chart and you recognize how a chart looks. There's no emotions in it, right? Like, it's just you look at the chart and you're like, okay, I could double my money. I could ride it to the 4.618. It doesn't matter. There shouldn't be any emotions in any of this. Like, there isn't. People get emotional about memes because it's like, oh, talk about my meme, or my meme is funnier than yours. Dude, I don't care. Look at the chart, like, it's just a trade. I'm an investor. Like,
all
I
right,
think the
all
chart
right.
looks fucking incredible.
I'm gonna buy 15,000 of Andy.
Let's
I'm
go.
not I'm not I'm not saying like, because like obviously I'm probably not going to turn at this point on Andy like 15,000 into 5 million like Brett, or um I'm not going to probably make millions of dollars like like realistically. Okay, let's say Andy were to hit a billion market cap from here. That means I would turn 15K into around like 180K.
Yeah.
Now, for some people that's like really really good. And I'm not going to say that like that's not good for me, but also okay, 15K into 180K for me. Well, I'm also like 15K into 5 million on Brett, 30K and 1.2 million on Resistance Dog, 30K and 1.2 million on Bobo. So like, to me, based on how I've positioned myself previous to this, 15K to 180K or like 15K and 100K, it doesn't like get me like crazy about it. But objectively, like I can be like, all right, I can put 15K. I'll be up double, triple, quadruple, 5x. I'll take out my initials. I'm writing free. Now I'm with Max on a trade that I'm just going based on the charts. If I disagreed with Max, like if I thought this chart was incorrect, I would say that. I would be like, no, your chart sucks. I don't like your trade. But that's not the case. Like this shit looks really fucking good. And
It's
I'm not
fucking
gonna
good.
deny that. So yeah, I'll chuck in 15K to Andy once we're done with the stream, and I'll provide proof. I'll provide proof to everyone too, bro. I'll
All right.
um I'll put proof. I'm not saying like I'm gonna ride or die, because why would I ride or die with something that I'm not gonna make like 10 million plus dollars on personally? Now, a lot of you guys in Andy, you might actually make a million, 5 million, 10 million plus, especially if you're in already. And some of you, it's just going to be a good trade. You're going to turn like 15K probably to 30K, 40K, 100K plus potentially. It's just a good trade, you know. Once again, do I get crazy excited about turning 15K and 100K? Not really, but can I objectively see that that's a great trade? Yes. Am I going to ride or die for that to the end? Like I am on Brett right now. No, because my position isn't as big as Brett. It's not as big as Resistance Dog. It's not as big as Bobo. So I'm not going to ride or die, but I will take out my initials when I'm up double, triple, quadruple, and ride free. And now I have exposure to the Andy on ETH. And hey, shit, maybe I still buy the Andy on Blast if it's floored out and it looks good too. Who knows? We'll
We
see.
just trade the charts, bro. It's like, it's not emotional. It's a good trade setup. It's that simple. People that don't get that, you can't help them. You're a trader. You're an investor.
Dude,
Same with me. You know?
people are front running me on Andy right now, bro. I haven't even had a chance to buy. People are already buying Andy before me now. I mean, at the end of the day, people have bought Andy before me. I'm just gonna have to accept that. But like, also, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, um, like salty about it. At the end of the day, like, look at that chart. Like the
Yeah, I mean, it's
upside
getting ready,
potential is there. And obviously it's floored out, right? It's pretty floored out. It's really stabilized, and obviously it's stabilized in the worst market conditions. Like when the market was crashing, it's been holding up like that. So hey, market doesn't lie, bro. You know, um, it's a
well,
good trade.
welcome to the Andy army, bro. Seriously. you know, it's going to be a great trade, and obviously, you know, the work that I'm doing to try to help the community, and the chart looks like this. So, you know, fingers crossed. And again, we'll keep doing everything we can. But we've been going for about 2 hours, and I want you to be able to get your entry on Andy. I don't want you to get front run too much. So I think this is probably a good place to call it here. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Before you go, please consider liking the video and also subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet. Last but not least, check out the links below that will take you to Crash's social media. He's an absolute beast in these markets. You probably will not make it this cycle if you don't follow Crash. That is a threat. That is a warning. That is full disclosure. You must follow Crash. His links are down in the description below. And again, Crash, thanks so much for being here, man. I had a great time. Looking forward to you joining the Andy Army. And of course, you know, I'm already a part of the Brett Army, man. Of course, I got my hoodie on. But again, Crash, thanks for
Of
being
course,
here, brother.
for me, it's mostly like objectively that it just looks like an amazing trade. Like I said, I'm very transparent with people. Like, aka, I'm fucking bullish as hell on Brett, Bobo, Resistance Dog, and I'm very bullish on this chart setup you've presented me and Andy. And I'm gonna take a shot, and I think it'll pay off, and I think it looks really good. So, you know, I'm not ride or die, but I am fucking. I see it. I see it looks good. So.
Appreciate you, bro.
Cool.
All right, guys, like and subscribe, follow Crash below, and we'll see you next time. Take care.